Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson.
And we are here for the final episode of our Missing in Action series.
Found in Action.
The title is actually Braddock, Missing in Action 3. And before we get into it, I just want to welcome all the new listeners today. Thank you for being here. We're glad you found us.
You can find all of our past episodes at sequelrights.com and send us an email, sequelrights@gmail.com, with your thoughts.
I recommend Darkman because you get to see a Jedi and a mummy fight crime.
I mean, that's a pretty great combination.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you here for this journey into darkness as we dive into Braddock, Missing in Action 3. And as we always do, let's check out that trailer.
Saigon, 1975. Colonel James Braddock left behind more than memories.
Your son's name is Van. He's alive.
Now, 12 years later, he's not just a soldier going after the enemy. He's a father searching for his child.
You must pay for the crimes that you have committed against my beloved country.
Until he discovers a generation left behind. The orphans of a forgotten war. Now, Braddock is on a heroic mission of mercy.
Get the truck!
Chuck Norris is fighting for everyone who can't fight back.
Oh my God, you guys.
What happens in this trailer?
Hold on. Before we get going, I just want to say, the makers of this film sat down and they looked at the previous two films and they were like, you guys, we've done explosions. We've done prisoners of war. What have we been missing throughout all of these two movies?
Keith David.
No. No, Steve.
Women and children.
No. No, Addison. I know what we've been missing. We've been missing songs! Songs, you guys! Songs will save this franchise!
Songs are, oh my God.
Let me tell you,
Sweet Muse, speak to me. Show me that beautiful jungle footage and give me the heart of America.
Oh my God. Okay, so for those of you who watched along with us, because we hope you did because these movies are so insane. Okay, the film starts out immediately from the get-go with some sort of Michael McDonald / Joe Cocker 80s sitcom theme song, complete with saxophone and harmonica, playing over the entire opening scene of this film. It's amazing.
And the opening scene is the fall of Saigon.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
So immediately, we need to have like a little siren or something that we play whenever it's like retcon alert.
Because this one pretends. Okay, so if you remember, just a quick recap, right?
Yeah.
So you have the first Missing in Action movie, which was actually supposed to be the second Missing in Action movie, where Braddock goes back to Vietnam 10 years after the war. The second Missing in Action movie is him actually being captured for the first time.
Around the end of the war.
Around the end of the war.
Yeah.
And both times, it's kind of, he ends up in a camp, but it's different camp. Like, there's kind of a retcon.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's in that camp for 10 years.
For 10 years. And in this version, he is in Saigon when it falls.
Working at the embassy.
Working at the embassy.
Married?
Yeah, did you guys know the entire time he had a wife?
Well, no, he
had
a wife.
A different wife.
No,
he had a white wife.
No, yeah, he had a wife in, was it the first or second movie where the guy...
In the beginning.
In the beginning, he was...
In the beginning.
The general
Chuck
was
Norris
like,
had a wife.
he was... I too love Genesis and the Bible. And he's like, oh, your wife's gonna leave. So it makes it seem like that he thinks his wife's
at home in America, and she's probably white.
Right. And so in this movie, he has a Vietnamese wife,
Lynn Braddock,
which totally just erases everything about. Like, this movie has nothing to do with the first two movies.
They totally erased it,
which I think is okay.
Well,
not for this podcast, my friend.
Also,
okay, if you're trying to connect the sequels, sure, but
no one's missing in action.
Hey,
he thought his wife was dead for 12 years. He missed a lot of action.
Oh my god! Did you write that one out in advance?
I did not.
You planned that joke, didn't you, sir? Oh my god!
Wow. Okay, so this catches up with him 12 years. I guess we should talk about what happened in the Fall of Saigon.
Shit's going down. She's packing up her whatever. Like, they're all going to get in the helicopters and fly over.
About her friend.
But like her friend's there and steals a bracelet, and then there's like a bomb that goes off.
No, like just
okay.
So she's trying to pack her clothes or whatever, and her friend's like, "Ooh, can I have this? Can I have this?" Because she can't take that much. And then Lynn leaves the room and says bye, and it's not really that heartfelt, so it's just kind of like bye. And then Min, the other girl, is in there dancing around in her clothes and jewelry and literally twirling in a circle, going, "Yeah, wee!" And then the apartment blows up.
I mean, that was so obvious that was going to happen.
Right. But then, so she's wearing like a bangle on her wrist of
super ugly watch / bracelet that I guess Chuck Norris gave her.
And so he sees a corpse coming out of here that's been shot, because this woman obviously gets blown up and killed. And he's like, yep, that's my wife. That's the bracelet. I recognize it. She dead.
He did look at her face, and it was pretty
And he
charred.
can't tell, like, one charred Asian lady from another one, apparently.
I mean, it's just that classic problem. All charred Asians look the same.
Typical white Total Gym spokesperson.
He would know who his Asian wife was.
Even if she was, like, charred to a crisp.
She wasn't that charred.
She was pretty charred.
She had a bracelet.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so he thinks she's dead, so he pieces out. Oh, but not before Keith David locks her out of the gates of the embassy.
I thought that was Keith David. I was like, is that Keith David? I didn't even bother watching the credits.
It was Keith David.
That's amazing.
How do you guys know Keith David?
The best movie of all time, The Thing.
I was like, from Community.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I know
he's in everything.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in Princess and the Frog.
That's true. Yeah.
I looked it up, and apparently this can be like current events. He even played the voice of Black Panther in the 90s Marvel series.
Oh.
Yeah, Keith David's in so much shit.
Yeah.
I know him before. He's in They Live. Like, he's a John Carpenter staple. Like, Keith David is a national treasure.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with Keith
But
David.
he's in this movie for like 2 minutes, so it's really funny.
These movies, as bad action movies as they are, because they're not good action movies, have Jean-Claude Van Damme and Keith David, who are genre staples, and in very early showbiz roles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually cool, fun. Like, it's almost like, oh, these movies are good enough that they fostered the farm league for Jean-Claude Van Damme and Keith David. They're not, because it's not substantial roles for them at all, but it is fun that they're in it.
Yeah.
Can I say, before we go too much further past this opening section of the film, earlier this week I was talking to Tyler, my friend and co-host Tyler.
Hello.
I was like,
I'm a friend.
I was like, man, I really hated Missing in Action to the beginning. As you probably know if you listen to last week's episode. And I was like, I am totally ready for the final film of the series to somehow be my favorite movie of the series.
Yep.
And you know what? It fucking came true. What? This movie is the best one.
My God.
And also, they
Are you
should have.
serious?
Yes, they should have not even released the fucking last movie. They should have just gone from the original to this one, and it would have made so much more sense. I have to say, I started this movie 3 times because I kept watching.
The song is
so great. I kept watching this opening sequence like, okay, because there's been no song, like there's been, score, but no clearly written for the film theme songs for any of these previous movies.
No Money Monster trailer type songs.
Yeah, and this fucking song called Freedom Again by Ron Bloom plays in the entire opening, like we said, and like I was like, fuck, this is so funny. I can't. I'm like, nothing is going to be better than this.
Hilarious.
I don't even want to watch past where the song stops.
Like, do you remember?
This is it.
Do you remember when Three Doors Down had like a pre-movie PSA to join the National Guard?
Yes.
Like, imagine, like, if you didn't see this movie, imagine that PSA.
Yes.
But somehow worse.
You gotta look up the songs. I think they're on YouTube as
Yeah.
actual songs, so you can listen to them.
And I
They're
watched it.
Insane.
I watched the opening 3 times, and I'm like, I think this is the song that they're listening to in the helicopter.
They're playing it over the last, but like I think the crazy thing about it is that some of it is like actual stock footage of the fall of Saigon. So some of it is some real deal.
I don't think too much of it is. I think a lot of it is the Philippines,
Yeah.
and they
Well, I was-
recreated it.
yeah. I was really
but
impressed by
but
it.
some of it is actual footage,
Oh, okay.
and they took this song seriously.
Yeah. Will we ever find freedom again?
Oh man. Okay, so
This is also the
Heartbroken.
movie where Chuck Norris is full on Walker Denim Ranger. Like,
Yes, that's true.
By the way, just like in the past movie, you can tell this is a flashback because he's only got the mustache and not the goatee.
Yes.
So they kept that continuity going at least.
Yeah.
That's what matters. So heartbroken about his dead wife, he takes off and goes back to America. And 12 years pass. So apparently the first movie passes, and he at some point.
We get
no. There's no fitting those together.
Okay.
we get yet another, like we mentioned in the first movie. We get another amazing Apocalypse Now transition from helicopter
To ceiling fan.
Ceiling fan.
Well, we should say that this movie brought back several things
It did.
from the first film. James Brunner was again the writer of this film.
But
Also co-written by Chuck Norris himself, which, as you watch the film, I kind of got the feeling that maybe James Brunner wrote the story and Chuck Norris wrote all the dialogue.
well, I can tell you a little bit about why Chuck Norris decided to start writing this film. If you didn't know this
really?
fun fact already,
Tell
he was
us.
watching an episode of 2020 and saw the story of an American GI who actually went back to Vietnam to look for his Amerasian child after the woman had been killed, and then he struggled and tried to bring this kid back to America and like couldn't for a while and blah blah blah, and he finally got him back to America and they were all happy and crying on 2020, and Chuck Norris was like, let's make a movie.
Bro, you directed.
Wow. Yeah, this one is directed by Aaron Norris, Chuck Norris's
Well,
brother.
did you read though that it started out being directed by Joseph Zito and they didn't
Yes.
get along?
Yes. And he was like, Chuck, you're too much of a crazy Christian Texas wearing denim man for me.
Yeah, the point is that this was also written by James Brunner, and as you watch the film, you'll kind of feel like, God, this is like the fucking same exact movie as Missing in Action, the original, but at least it's like the reason why I like this one the best is because it's the most ridiculous and the one that I had the most fun watching. Like, Missing in Action 1, as we mentioned, was boring as fuck.
Aggressively boring.
Lots of long scenes where it's like, what the fuck is happening? Why are we watching this? Missing in Action 2 was just like repetitive torture scenes that were uninspired and like over the top.
Your fucking torture scenes are uninspired.
They were.
Inspire me with your torture.
They were. There's a better torture scene in this movie.
There is.
There is.
It's such an insane
Exactly.
torture scene.
The other ones
And apparently
were just
somebody
stupid.
counted it, and it's actually the longest torture scene in the series.
Wow. See?
But does someone bite a rat's face?
No one
No,
cares.
there was no rats in the bag.
No one.
This one has like I feel like this is the promise of when we started this. When you first sent me the trailer, and I was like, "Oh my god, let's do this!"
Yeah.
Like I thought they were.
When
gonna
I first misled you.
yeah, I thought they were going to be like these ridiculous action films with cheesy dialogue, horrible stuff, and like The first two for me don't really fulfill that, and this one finally does. Because as I was watching the first two, I was thinking, man, like, I kind of a little bit regret doing this series. Like, it's a little boring, and the second one was just bad in general. And then this one is just so dumb. And like,
did that opinion become solidified for you when a boat was parachuted out of a plane?
Yes. Okay, the last film I joked about the villain being a Bond villain.
Yeah.
And that was just a fucking taste
Yeah.
of the James Bondness. That this
almost
one
like-
went full James Bond.
It's almost like this movie's a parody, I gotta say. A lot of times I was like, it is so over the top that it's a parody.
Okay, I didn't agree with Camps until you just said that, and now I'm on board. It is a parody of itself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's self-aware and it's great.
I don't think it
And
is,
also-
but yes.
Yeah. We haven't gotten like fully into this film, but like
Yeah, we need to because
there's stakes in this that I feel are more interesting than the
Right, like
other
so.
films.
So they throughout both the other movies, he has an actual wife. Like, so this priest comes and says, like, "You're Braddock, right?" And he's like, "Your wife's alive," and he's like, "Bullshit, Catholic man."
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe you. And then he gets called into Braddock gets called in by a CIA dude in like the most terribly lit room I've ever seen.
I love this. I love this bar scene though, where the priest meets him at the bar. Because I'm like the second the priest leaves, the CIA show up. Like, is he
Right.
at this bar like every day? The
Well,
people
no-
just know to find him there.
Have you never heard a joke before? a Marine, a priest, and a
Vietnamese
CIA agent
priest
walk into a
walks
bar.
in the
Yeah.
By the way, this priest's name is Reverend Polanski, which you would never name an auxiliary character that now. But
Yeah, no.
Fun fact, guys. In my yearbook, there's a quote of me holding a camera, and it says, "I want to be just like Roman Polanski, but I'm not doing it for the kids."
how did you get away with that in your high school yearbook?
Because
Well,
teachers be
people
dumb.
didn't know who Roman Polanski was.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. So the CIA threatens him. For some reason, he knows the CIA agent whose name is Little John. Or
That
that's
was
his
so
nickname.
weird, but I love it.
It's very, and so it's not until he to the priest he's like, "You're fucking lying,
Yeah.
God boy," and then when the CIA people are like, "Don't listen to him, he's crazy," and he is like, "Oh my God, it's true."
As soon as exactly.
So the best part, and you may have already heard this in the trailer, but he
does say it in the trailer.
he does say it in the trailer. Yeah, when Little John is telling him, don't make a big mess in Vietnam. Just be sure to not step on any toes. And what does he say?
He says, "I don't step on toes, Little John. I step on necks."
Necks. That was an amazing.
I was
one.
already like into the movie, and I was like, "Yes."
These are sort of the things I expected to see all along. Yeah,
See?
the super
Exactly.
over the top lines,
This is what I'm
just
saying.
complete ridiculousness.
It's you're right. It has the soap opera action absurdity that the other ones do not have.
Yeah. Like, out of all the films that we watched in this series, this is the one that I would be like, I'm gonna watch it again, if I was to do that. But.
So basically, Braddock is now on a mission to get back to Vietnam to find his wife that he now believes is alive. Does he
And
know?
his 12-year-old son.
Does he know that there's a child?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Priest told him.
Yeah, and there's a kid. So
So, if we're following the story of Missing in Action 1, where do we need to go next, Tyler?
well, it's Thailand, but it's not there.
No? Yeah, we need to go to Bangkok
Right.
to find who? An old war buddy, perhaps?
For some reason, Australian again? Like
Yeah.
that
Who's also
photographer?
at a brothel,
Yeah.
maybe? Where there's music playing?
It's a staple of the series. You either like it or you don't.
We have another, I don't know if you saw this, Eliz, but there's another Disney bomb in this one. There's a Donald Duck sticker on the
What?
taxi that he gets in.
I did not see that. That's amazing.
I was like, we can't escape Disney. There's been Disney in 2 of these movies.
That's right.
Donald Duck actually did a lot of war stuff for Disney, but mostly in World War
There
II.
you go.
Yeah.
Save that steel.
So yeah, we go to Bangkok where he is there to find some old war buddy of his who has an airplane.
And a raft on the airplane.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, he flies them over to Vietnam and drops.
There's
them
actually
into the
some
water.
really cool airplane flying in this
Yes.
film. I feel like there's a few shots where it's flying like ridiculously close to the water, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's an impressive shot.
Yeah, Aaron Norris endangered the lives of his crew in this movie.
He did so much.
Yeah, we're
that,
gonna talk about that.
yeah, we may as well at this point because in the Wikipedia it says that people died.
Yeah, I found an actual
the
article
Wikipedia
about
says
it, yeah.
thousands.
But
of
that's
people
not-
No,
died.
that's wrong. I was like,
No, but no, yeah, the
says
Wikipedia for
thousands
this
of
movie
people
said
died.
If you read the
thousands
LA Times
died.
article, it was 4 people and like 5 more were horribly injured or something.
I was like,
that.
damn, what size helicopter was that where thousands of people died in it?
Yeah.
That's still
It's still bad.
Well, and
Terrible.
then the freaky thing about it was that this crash happened the day of the verdict being announced for the Twilight Zone helicopter crash. And so
Right.
people were like, "Whoa!" Like freaking out.
Yeah,
So,
that's too bad. And it was all like it was like Philippines people.
yeah, it was all Filipino people.
well. It's Aaron Norris is still working to this day. He was a stuntman in the Ant-Man movies,
Oh wow.
Wow.
but not directing so much. He did direct Top Dog, which is a good segue for something later.
Can I say one more thing too? When he gets in the airplane here and they take off from the from the airport to head to Bangkok. No, to head to Vietnam.
Yep.
I got like weirdly so much excitement from hearing the original, theme come back.
The original theme is good
because
the original theme is good.
Jay Chataway is back, you guys,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the first film.
Yep.
And they bring back like his main theme, and I was like, "Fuck yes, let's do this!"
Chuck Norris is gonna go kill some
Braddock is
motherfuckers.
back,
Yes.
bitches! Yeah.
So he apparently the Vietnamese military is waiting for him.
Yes. Oh, they
so,
know.
So he parachutes in, and the jet boat gets the jet boat from the first movie, pretty much.
This one is straight up James Bond jet boat.
Right.
Yeah, this one's like more compact and
Yeah.
you can
And so
hide
basically
better.
like he parachutes in, and he's being tracked, and
But his thing, it's like a fucking rocket jet boat. He
Yeah, it
gets
goes
away
very
so
fast.
quickly.
he solid snakes it. It's the Snake Plissken
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid type of deal. And so he gets in, finds his wife.
He finds the priest at the orphanage. The priest takes him to the wife and son
Yep.
who are basically living in a shack.
Mhm.
His son not happy to see him.
Yeah, his son
Yeah.
doesn't like him anymore, even though apparently he used to like idolize him. Now that he's 12,
I'm
he's-
pretty sure I know the reason why his son didn't like him, you guys.
Is it because he couldn't pronounce his name?
Yes. I don't know if you know this, but everyone who talked to Chuck Norris was like, "Your son's name is Vaughn.
Vaughn.
His name is Vaughn. Here, Vaughn doesn't like you because..." And then immediately Chuck Norris is like, "Hey, Van!
Van?
Van, why don't you like me, Van? I'm your dad. Hey, Van, it's me, your dad."
Hey, hey, Chrysler Town and Country.
Yeah, but then
Get
when he
over
talks to him in Vietnamese, he says Vaughn. But then as soon as he knows the kid speaks English, he goes back to calling him Van.
Hey, Astro, get over here.
There's
Astro
a scene
Van.
where Vaughn is like standing in the corner all mad, and like Chuck Norris turns to him and goes, "I guess I know how you feel, Van." He pauses like, "I guess," thinking
The wife's like
something to
all
say.
in. She doesn't even care. Like he doesn't even get a chance to tell her like I saw this body. Nothing. She's just like I don't care. You're here. I'm super happy now.
Yeah.
She even says, "I'm sorry. I'm no longer pretty for you." Which
Is
girl,
fucking
have some
terrible.
confidence. Okay.
Yeah, that was
Like,
bad, that was
considering
bad.
what you've been through, you look great. Okay. Like.
So they sneak out of the little town that they're living in and head back to the raft. It's
Enter
time to get on that assault raft.
James Bond villain.
General
Yes.
Quack.
General Guacamole. I was like, his name is General Guac? Really?
Quack.
It
General
sounded like
Guac.
they said guac to me.
Quack.
I don't
Quack.
know. Okay.
General Quack.
Well, the whole time that they're heading back to this assault raft, right? And it's Chuck Norris, James Braddock, his wife, Lynn Braddock, and Van.
Van?
They're heading back to this assault raft, which is clearly built for like one person.
Right.
And I'm like, There's no fucking way they're all going to fit
Sure.
in this assault raft. And the movie fixes that right away by doing what?
Is it a quiz?
Hey, audience, what happens next? Does Braddock leave his family behind and go by himself? Do they decide to put the child on his lap to make room for both? Or C, does General Guac shoot his wife in the face?
I'm gonna go with C.
Oh, you're our big prize winner, General Guacamole.
As soon as like they showed that the son was like not liking him, and the mom was like, "Give him a chance," blah blah blah. I was like, "Oh, she's about to get killed."
See, I did not expect his wife to get shot in the face.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah, it was
expecting that
very
either.
graphic. You saw the bullet hole like right in the middle of her forehead. It was
Yeah,
intense.
the whole time I was like, oh, maybe they could still fit in that raft. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and then it was really weird because the little kid was like crying over the mom's dead body and going like, "No, no!" And then General Quack takes the gun and aims it at the kid, and then fade to black.
Right.
And I was like, "What? Is he gonna shoot the kid? Are they not gonna shoot
That was like
him?"
a Missing in Action 2 style
Yeah.
fade
Right.
to black.
So then,
But then what happens?
the torture scene.
Jigsaw shows up.
Yes.
I wrote that down too. I was like, "Saw."
Dude, this is way more creative torture than anything that Colonel...
What was
And
his name
here
again? Yeah,
here
this
at
sucks.
Sequel Rights, we judge torture on creativity.
Exactly. I mean, we've lived through the hostile ages. Like, we want to see
Hostile.
creative torture.
We've seen Tanya
We
have
saw all
to
the
work in a
saws.
newspaper.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this Rube Goldberg torture device happening here.
There's basically Chuck Norris is being held up with like his wrists are bound together on a meat hook, and there's a shotgun trained at his child's face. But it's a torture room that the Vietnamese have apparently set up and used multiple times. So there's actually an amazing sequence
Yes.
where General Quack has to adjust the gun lower to the chair to shoot a child in the face.
Yeah. He's like, normally the people are, higher, taller.
And so basically what it is like if Chuck Norris like falls asleep or
Yeah.
like goes
He's on his
slack,
tippy toes, and
yeah,
if he
yeah.
puts his heels down, it shoots him in the face.
It's gonna pull the trigger on his son, and basically how the scene plays out is like Chuck Norris got abs, and Chuck Norris isn't gonna let his kid get shot.
Yeah.
And so General Quack gets frustrated after about 2 minutes of him
There's
being
an
able to
amazing
maintain.
scene of him like tapping his fingers like, and he's like looking at his watch like, God damn it, hurry the fuck! I thought he was be dead by now. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I got shit to do. Like, I have bridge to play. Like, I thought this child would be dead.
So they decide to up the ante
Right.
by
Put a
putting on a shock collar.
And
Oh, I thought it was a rat in a bag. No,
by the
that's
way,
a
when they
different
had
movie?
the two little like electrical clamps, I was like, if they put those on his nipples, I'm done. Because he was like brandishing them, and like Chuck Norris was shirtless, and I was like, don't do it. But they just put it on the shock collar.
I know. That was so great. Then we get a bunch of scenes of General Quack like maniacally flipping the switch to turn the
Right.
electric shock on.
But Jimmy Braddock ain't nobody's fool.
No, he survives somehow.
He survives.
Actually, he almost doesn't, but his son goes, no! And he like
Yeah.
finds the
Yeah.
courage to lift back up.
Which is also Metal Gear Solid throwback.
Yeah. But eventually, General Guac just forces him down.
Yep.
And we learned that apparently there wasn't another shot in the shotgun.
It's not loaded.
It was loaded for the
Once
demonstration.
again,
Yeah.
Fake out with the guns.
Mind games, because the Vietnamese love mind games.
Yeah.
Mazzilli was there shouting, "Don't worry, it's not real."
Oh man, I forgot to say another reason why I love General Guac throughout this entire film is because from his very first line where he says his goddamn name, it seemed like he was reading the lines off of a cue card.
Yeah.
His first line is, "I am General Guac."
Well, Colonel whatever from the other movie, he always was like, Colonel Braddock, blah, blah, blah. Colonel Braddock, this and that. You know, like he would always like use titles. And so this guy, when he gets mad, he just looks off into the distance, yells, Braddock! Yeah. Like he does it like 8 or 9 times.
It's like a Colonel Clink type thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah.
I started to think like, oh, I understand why they called this film Braddock Missing in Action 3, because like I think the number one single word said in this film is Braddock. The CIA guys, there's a whole scene in
His
Bangkok.
son calls him Braddock until
there's a
he
whole scene
likes
in
him.
Bangkok where they're chasing him and they're just like, Braddock, Braddock, Braddock. Oh, Braddock. Oh, Braddock. Well, Braddock.
So Chuck Norris
Braddock?
escapes. Yeah, Braddock. Braddock escapes. He escapes dry dock. With Van Von.
Yep.
And for some reason, they decide to endanger the priest and all the other children at the orphanage by hiding there.
Yeah.
This is like a Sound of Music situation.
They start heading there, and Quack anticipates this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he anticipates this by kidnapping everyone at the orphanage.
Everyone. So there's now a truckload of 30 kids and an elderly
Which
priest.
is, insane.
Right.
He just ratchets up his like evil
Evilness.
villain.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck it, let's take all the kids.
Yep.
And it gets pretty bad. They put all the kids in a like underground compartment thing under a house or something, and they can see through the like metal grate on the ground. And then they put one the oldest looking girl out of the orphans. They put her up, and then one of the soldiers like. We basically see an almost child rape scene. It's like super.
This was rough.
Yeah, it's like super violent, and like all the kids have to watch it from the vent, and they're all crying and hugging each other.
I was
going,
like so into this movie, and
Yeah.
then, well, I still like the movie, but this scene, I was like, no, I didn't think they were gonna go here.
Well, luckily Chuck Norris has a magic gun.
Yes, I love this gun. Okay, we see like him take this gun off the raft in the beginning, and when he pulls it out of like his little compartment, you're like, holy shit, that's the biggest fucking gun I've ever seen in my life. And you know why? It's because it has every fucking attachment you could ever imagine.
Yeah. It has a spring-loaded knife. It has a rotating grenade launcher.
Yes.
It has
Just a regular assault rifle.
This gun is like Stefan's nightclubs. This gun has everything. Teddy Graham people. But it does. It's like, this gun has everything that you want.
Guns are terrible right now, but as far as fake ass guns, this was my favorite.
well, and you know, if you're gonna shoot a child rapist's dick off, you know, have a gun.
Which he
love-
does.
I love that it seemed to have like shotgun slugs, but then also like rocket launcher.
It was magical.
It was like a catch-all
Guys,
gun.
if you could make a gun that only shoots bad guys, get
child
wizards and engineers, get out there and make it. Until then, no more guns.
Yeah, no guns.
Yeah.
Only Chuck
But-
Norris is qualified to handle these.
Only Chuck
firearms.
Norris's fake magic gun.
It was great for the scene though.
It was.
I do
it was
love that they
fantastic.
shot that guy in the dick, though. I
Yes.
was like,
Shot him
perfect.
right in the dick.
Yeah.
And he gets launched so far out,
Yeah.
like through a wall in this fucking bungalow. At the end, like, you know, he gets to right outside the compound where the kids are being held, and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Another fucking Braddock. Braddock's gonna destroy this
Right.
fucking compound with explosives.
Every time I see Braddock with a detonator, though, I'm like, oh no, here we go
Oh
again.
no! Like I can fast forward 10 fucking minutes.
I know you
It
guys.
wasn't too bad this
Yeah,
time, though.
I know you guys like maybe didn't like this one as much, but I
I love
honestly,
this movie.
I was like, I honestly think that this one might have the best action out of all of them.
I think it does.
There's like way more involved scenes as far as like choreography and explosions and like
Just the fact that his wife gets shot
yeah.
the way that she does, like the motivations or no, like, but like even at that time, like that's fucked up. Like
Yeah.
the movie's like pushing
And
buttons.
we totally we glossed over this section of the film, but in the Bangkok scene, there's a somewhat legitimate like car chase scene.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Where he's, you know, getting chased by the Taiwanese police and
Yep.
the CIA at the same time. Or the police at Bangkok.
So yeah,
Thai police.
I think that we get good action sequences from Chuck Norris's brother Aaron, who is a accomplished stuntman in his own right.
Yeah.
Has put together some really interesting action sequences.
I mean, we get once they Chuck Norris, James Braddock breaks all these kids out of this compound and puts them in a truck, and we get an extended scene where the truck is driving through the jungle and getting shot at by a helicopter right over them.
And these kids are just bustling around in the back of this giant truck.
The kids are freaking out,
Poor
but like
things.
it's this extended scene of like explosions going off all over this truck, and I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money.
It's so much money.
And just like the shots looked really good in my opinion.
Yep.
What I loved is that fucking, Chuck Norris looks like he's fucking driving on a Sunday afternoon. He's
just
driving
like,
slow on Sunday morning.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, what the fuck's happening? Oh, people shooting at me? Whatever. But I thought that was great.
Yeah, so they're all in the jungle now. They've escaped the exploding trucks, but they're all in the jungle. We got 30 kids, an elderly priest, and Chuck Norris. And Chuck Norris looks at the map and says, all right, there's 90 kilometers to the border. And the priest is like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You expect these kids to walk 90 kilometers? And he's like, I don't expect anything, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And I love that, like, they start walking and the kids go, and the Reverend is like standing there like, oh, what the fuck? And then like you hear some kid in the background go, come on, Reverend. I'm
not so good with my metrics, even though like I run 5Ks and 10Ks. I'm like 90 kilometers. I looked it up. It's 56 miles.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. Hey, and they do it.
That's more than 2 marathons.
Hey, they're just walking, right?
They're
That's fine.
They don't even have shoes and like full clothes, and they're in the jungle. There's no path. Like, what a mess. By the way, it really annoyed me
that would take you 2 weeks.
with 30 kids of varying ages.
That would take you 2 weeks, and you'd expect 30% casualties.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I felt really bad because none of these kids were credited. Not a single one of them, except his son, got credited.
What?
Even the girl who had to do the rape scene did not get credited.
I was expecting a full child actor check-in.
I do have a check-in on Vaughn, but nobody else even got credited.
That's
I looked
crazy.
Is he proudly representing his town and country?
Well, let's wait. So apparently the story was that they just got a bunch of rando Filipino kids that were like wandering around the streets.
That's crazy.
No, they were all Amerasian Filipino kids, which there are a lot of these kids.
I don't know what that means.
It means that one of your parents is American and one is Asian. Typically they're left over from GI
as they say in
situations.
the film, American half-breed children.
Yeah, so
Right.
in the Philippines, they're still like, okay, so for Vietnam and Laos and a bunch of other countries, they actually passed a law in 1982 to let them come to America. But in the Philippines, they're still arguing about it like today.
Sure.
Because there's so much American military in the Philippines that these kids are just like
Well,
popping up all the
our
time.
immigration policy is super clear right now.
Yeah.
So.
So
I can't believe that the girl isn't credited because she
She's like-
is so pivotal.
Yeah.
in
She's
several
it's a
scenes.
So
giant
basically,
scene.
like, and then I found this other feel-good article that Chuck Norris was interviewed for, where he said that like one of the
total
kids,
gym.
yeah, one of the kids had like a growth on his face, and he was like really ashamed of it. And Chuck Norris one day was like, you know what? Forget this, and he like grabs the kid, takes him to the doctor, pays for him to have the growth removed, like a surgery, and then like the kid's all happy. So the next day, that kid comes back with 3 other kids who have like various deformities, and Chuck Norris is like, all right, cool, I'll take you guys too. And so he takes these 3 more kids to the doctor to have surgery.
Dang.
And then the third day, there was a line of 100 kids that were deformed, and then he was like, well, I mean, he just basically like told the doctor, do as many as you can and I'll pay you off.
Wow.
So I don't,
So Chuck
That's-
Norris sucks and is also good.
yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, they were just random kids.
Wow.
And they did not get any credit.
That's
for
too
this
bad.
film.
That's too bad.
I hope they got paid at least.
Because they really focus on that girl.
They do.
Like, several
And these
times
kids,
in the movie.
These kids go like they have to, even though they were just filming, they were in the jungle barefoot for hours. I'm sure it was hot.
They had
to be in the back of a truck.
56 miles.
Yeah, they had to be in the back of a truck, bustling around. They had to be crawling everywhere. Yeah, I mean, like they really got a lot of work out of those kids.
So they crashed the truck.
Yep.
Then they're gonna walk. They're gonna hoof it.
Yeah,
they hoof it to an airfield.
Right. And then Chuck
so
Norris...
they don't go the full 90 kilometers.
Yeah,
because by this point the kids obviously are fading.
Then Chuck Norris kills some folks.
Yeah, he basically like takes down an entire airfield of guys, which is maybe 5 people.
He solid snakes it.
Yep.
Which
I love that
which
shot.
I'm always a fan of.
He's like dragging a dude underneath a building, and he's like, no, and he pulls him under and then snaps his neck.
And then they get on a plane that he's about to crash.
He does not really know how to fly this plane. Let's be clear.
Yeah, the whole time this like General Guac guy is like right on his tail.
Yeah,
and he misses the plane takeoff, but they get enough bullets in the plane that it starts leaking fuel.
Right. So then Chuck Norris crashes a plane with 30 children on it.
And everyone
the kids don't have seatbelts or anything. They're just jostling around in the fuselage.
And it's like, God damn, that man's a hero.
Yeah, there's a amazing line where Chuck Norris is like, the Vietnamese pilot gets shot, and now Chuck Norris is flying the plane. And the Reverend's up there like, what's happening? And he's like, get back there with the kids, Reverend. It's gonna get rough.
Yeah, Polanski, get back there with the kids.
It's gonna get rough. Yeah. So
oh, God. I didn't even think of that angle of it.
Get back there, Polanski. It's gonna get rough. Get back with the kids, Polanski. It's gonna get rough.
Oh, no.
His son, Vaughn, though, is in the front seat during the plane crash.
That's his son. That's why.
Yeah. Oh,
the son loves him by now, I guess. But not all the way.
Shortly after,
he's like, Dad, you flexed your abs so hard you didn't shoot me in the face with the fake shotgun.
We do get a scene like almost immediately after the plane crashes where Chuck Norris is like, Van, you're the fucking best son I've ever had in my life.
Van, you're the man.
You're the fucking greatest son. I never wish for a better son. And then he's like, I love you. I love you, Van.
And then all of a sudden after that, Van starts calling him Daddy, like when he runs away.
I love your impression of Chuck Norris in the movie as a Coors Light dad.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it was like.
So they're really close to the border at this point. And on the other side of the border is the CIA and a bunch of American soldiers that can't actually cross the border to help Chuck Norris, so they're just watching.
I actually loved this setup to the end, like, climax where, like, they're right there, ready to be saved. Like I was saying with the stakes before, we hadn't talked about the kids yet, but, like, this whole film is, like, predicated on the fact that he's trying to save not only his son, but all these kids. And, like, sure, the other film, he was trying to save fucking POW soldiers, and I'm not saying...
That dude liked his chicken a lot.
Yeah,
he wanted to save chicken guy
against POWs out there. Or people that had POWs,
but the kids.
But I'm just saying, like, there's a whole thing where it's like
you're
kids
saying visually, I give a shit about what's behind him.
The way that these films were set up, like, you don't care about the soldiers in the other film. This one, you care about the kids.
Yep.
And one of them is like his kids, so you really care.
Van Von.
And I liked the whole setup where it was like they're so close to rescue, and the American army is right there, the CIA is right there, but they just can't.
They can't help them, obviously, because that would be an international incident. Oh wait, actually, all of this would be an international incident. But it would be even more of an international incident.
At least they could be like, we disavow that dude. He was there.
Yeah, exactly. So they're all watching and like basically cheering him on as if they were watching the movie with us.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Every time Chuck Norris got a kill, they were like, yeah.
You mean
shot the dude in the face? Fuck
yeah, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
They were cheering for him.
Do it for town and country.
There's a couple.
Yeah, basically he gets blown up a bunch of times and survives.
There are a couple amazing shots where Chuck Norris jump shoots through a fucking window in slow motion where I'm like, dude, none of those bullets are hitting anyone. We gotta post this GIF later because it is so funny. But it gets to a point where, you know, Chuck Norris has finally killed all the dudes, but someone at the last minute throws a grenade and he gets blown the fuck up and he is like basically dead. And then General Guac shows up. General Guac, I'm sorry. He shows up in a like assault helicopter ready to kill him.
Oh, it's a Hind D.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
You know. And at this point, I was like so into this movie, you guys. I know you can tell.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck, dude, I know this is the last film. Part of me was like, do I want to see Braddock die to save these kids? Like, this is the last film?
I
Or do I want to see him fucking take down a helicopter by himself?
I thought from
He didn't do it by himself.
a Chuck Norris standpoint, it'd be a Christ-like figure where he would save the children. And
Yeah, I
And-
thought he could
Wait,
have
are you
died.
familiar with the term white savior? Because,
Wait,
this
I can-
might have been when they invented it.
I can tell you that Chuck Norris is. But so no, Town and Country and Braddock decide.
Van?
Yeah, Astro and Honda Odyssey.
Oh God. Okay. So basically, the final is that he apparently is too injured to shoot this giant grenade launcher by himself. So he teaches Van how to do it, and together they shoot down the
Yeah, they
helicopter.
shoot twice at the helicopter, and the second time they happen to hit the pilot, and it goes
Sure.
down.
Who's General Quack, right?
No, the pilot was someone
Oh.
else, and then General Guac doesn't know how to fly it, so he crashes. and
I
blows
see.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then,
Oh,
basically
the
it's like celebration time on the other side of the border,
they
and
all run across the bridge.
yeah,
to
suddenly
the
now they can
tunes.
run across,
Right.
Because apparently everyone's dead.
Well,
I
I
guess.
guess no one's watching. Yeah.
No
at that
one's
point.
watching at this point,
They run across, and all the kids come across,
and they're certain of that.
and then like everyone's crossing, they're all crossing, and the lone uncredited Vietnamese child girl looks back at her homeland for a second, and then we learn that we can see freedom in her eyes. She smiles as she walks across the border as this fucking song plays. It's not the same song as the beginning. A new fucking
It's
song.
It's called
a new-
in Your Eyes.
Yeah.
It's all about seeing freedom in your eyes.
And it sounds like kind of like moving in the beginning, and it takes about 30 seconds before goddamn 80s saxophone comes in.
This song is like the most over the top America rah rah type song. It's worse than like the Epcot American Adventure song. It's worse than I'm proud to be an American. It's worse than everything.
And I'll proudly stay.
It's so bad. We always put a song at the end of the episode, and I am fucking torn about which one to put.
I think the second one.
They're both like, oh, you guys gotta hear them. You gotta hear
They're
'em.
so bad. They're so bad.
So the guy who wrote the songs, Ron Bloom, he had such a weird career. He did these songs, and then he went on and did a bunch of other things. But most recently, he started this thing called Bite Size TV, and then they own that weird studio on the corner of Hollywood, across the street from the Pantages on the bottom of the W. There's that glass box studio. He owns that, and they did this
what?
Hollywood basically Entertainment Tonight copy thing in there, and then he just sold that company, and he started another company that makes these little info videos for hotels and airports, and these short little TV snippets that you see around.
Hey,
so
if you
weird.
wanted to do remote checkout, press 6 on your television remote.
I gotta say too,
So very strange.
this ridiculous song is playing over the end credits, right?
Yeah.
And before we actually cut to the end credits, it pops up with this
Yes.
little card that says 15,000 Asian children still stuck in Vietnam. We were just watching some goddamn biopic.
Document. Yeah. something that was important where a dad didn't just teach his child how to shoot a fucking grenade launcher to kill a bad
And
guy.
we didn't have a line that was if he makes one wrong move, we'll climb up his ass.
It's also a little bit offensive to say that they're trapped in Vietnam, because while the ones who are orphans, yes, I guess, are trapped,
Yeah.
some of them probably live
Some
with
of them
their
just
mother and
live in
are
Vietnam.
Vietnamese. They're
Yeah,
half Vietnamese, so I
I
don't
just
know.
as soon as I popped up, I almost spit out my drink because I was
yeah.
they're trying to make it sound like this was some serious
And,
shit we just watched.
this movie is not. This is a grindhouse movie that I agree that has the most operatic setup, where it is trying to be ridiculous. I think the movie itself, I think Aaron Norris wanted it to be sincere, but it's not.
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
and it's fun, and that the stakes are bold and dumb and clear.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we talk about our overall thoughts on this film?
Yep.
Wait, let's check in first
Oh, wait, you
on
have
Roland E. Hera the third, Vaughn. This kid was like the go-to Vietnamese, half American kid in every Vietnam War themed television and film for quite.
So you're
some
saying
years.
that he was the only part of this movie where they got the best.
Yeah, I guess so.
He did a pretty good job.
So
in
yeah,
the
he
movie.
was in
he's
Airwolf, and he
awesome.
was in a lot of things playing a half Vietnamese kid, and he actually is half Vietnamese.
Nice.
And he kind of retired from acting when he got a little older, I guess. And he moved to Riverside, and he lived in a house on the corner of 5th and Brockton. And I know this is going to make Tyler so mad. For one summer, he
We
worked
don't
doing
need to know
data
where he
entry
lives.
at a mortgage company. And then he got married to a lady named Yao, and they had matching star tattoos on their upper right arm. And their house had a really cool interior with strange antiques, and they were known for having really cool theme parties. But sadly, he then died at the age of 21.
What?
So this is the child star check-in I've been
Twist
dreading
ending.
this entire time, is that he killed himself
my-
when he was
what?
21. Actually, his family had the records of his death sealed, so nobody knows for sure, but people who actually knew him say that it was a suicide.
Oh, that's so terrible.
But I did see pictures of his grave.
I don't know why I laugh.
There's some website called findagrave.com, and he on one corner they had I forgot what his other hobby was. but
did
they had
see
the little,
pictures of his
Elis,
grave.
Elis,
there.
what did he like on his tombstone?
It said, in one corner it had a guitar, because he was also a musician. He was in a band. So in one corner there's electric guitar, and on the other corner there was the comedy and drama theater masks. And then it said, to our beloved son, we loved you so much. It was really sad.
That's so depressing.
Yeah, he's buried at Pierce Brothers in Riverside.
Oh, god damn.
All right, well, let's move on from that as quickly and swiftly as possible.
I knew that was going to make Tyler so mad when I was looking this up, too.
I was like,
But honestly-
here's where he lived, but he's dead now, so
Well,
let's
honestly,
move
though,
on.
I'm surprised, based on how, child actors a lot of times don't meet a great end, I'm kind of surprised this is the first one that
We were
is
saying all this
passed.
great stuff about him, and then it's just just kidding, he's dead. At an early age.
There's a lot of people out there that still, really are fanned over him,
That sucks.
you know.
Well, he did a great
Th-
job in this.
There's Van fans out
Yeah,
there?
there are a lot of Van fans out there. I guess
I
he
think
was
they're
in
called
quite a
Von
few
Fans.
things.
Van
The
Fan.
Van Fans. That's
Every
terrible.
year
Fuck.
on his birthday, people write on
R.I.P.
that
buddy.
grave.
We're joking about a dead
No,
man.
R.I.P. buddy. Dude.
Okay, so this movie overall.
Yeah, so honestly, guys, I enjoyed this one the most. If I'm not saying I'm going to watch it again, but if I was ever I want to watch one of those missing in action films, I would tell people to just watch this one.
I
It
think
fulfills the promises of what you would in your mind think of what these films would be. This is the one.
How many Singapore slings do you give this movie?
I would give it
What?
5 Singapore slings.
Yeah.
What did I say last time?
You say
I
5
said
every
I
time.
think I said 4.5 rats in a bag. Okay, I'll give this one 4 Singapore slings.
I'm going to 5.
Ooh,
Five
fivesies.
slings.
Yeah, I really had fun with this one. I know it took me a few times to watch it, but
It's grindhousey. It definitely it's
Yeah.
very much like these people are trying to kill children. They're bad. He's good.
it's the most over the top, ridiculous
Yeah.
script.
It's
Crazy.
true.
action.
I can't forgive it for its ridiculous white saviorness. It's just so racist and so wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
think-
also didn't like how this time, now that Chuck Norris is writing it or whatever, he really goes over the top on making him this romantic figure
Yeah.
as well. The scene where he's with his wife and stuff. It's just ugh. It was so poorly acted and just not
I just-
believable.
for whatever reason, the bad acting in the second film made me hate it, and the bad acting in this one made me think it was hilarious. I don't know what the
There's-
difference
no,
was.
I think the music in the beginning is so absurd that
It's
you were
bad.
I'm now on board
Yeah.
for this to suck, and I'm going to enjoy it.
And also, it's they brought back the quote unquote main theme. He would have fucking badass.
I thought
Jay
you guys
Chataway
were going to
theme?
be a lot more offended by the retcon.
No,
I was super upset by it, but
I thought
at the same time, it's like, oh, the retcons, like, there's no continuity to fuck with.
Yeah.
In this
That's
series,
true. We were already confused about the
like
continuity.
it was like the first one and the second one. There was apparently a plan, but they don't make any sense next to each other.
Yeah.
They're all basically individual entries. Like this is the least connected franchise we've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Species did a better job of Species 5 did a better job of throwing back to what happened in the series than these movies did.
God, there were 5?
No, there were no.
I think there were 4.
Species 5, did you watch?
Yeah.
Species 5 did a better job.
Hey, good point.
Than
Good
these
All right, so
movies
what's
did.
your ranking for the 3 missing in action films?
Oh, we have a second ranking?
Well, we got to do a ranking for the order of the films.
order, yeah.
For the entire
Oh, I
franchise.
see.
I'm gonna go 2, 3, 1. Sorry.
Eee, boy.
I can't. My soul.
I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1 contact on this. Actually,
Oh my god. I'm gonna go 3, 1, 2.
yeah.
Wow, this might be the first time that none of us have the same
You
order.
guys are killing me. The third one.
You
is
sound like
so
you're about to break into song.
I know the third one.
I
is
wanted
so
you.
Fun.
I thought you were gonna perform one of those songs for us.
I put
I
3
sang it already.
I put 3 as my first as well.
Freedom in her eye. I can see the love of freedom
I want you
in
to.
your. Boom, bam, bam.
Oh my god, I want to join the National
It's
Guard.
so great.
You need to record it as a YouTube video to go along with your Dark Man music.
Oh my god, this song is great. Like, I'm not even joking. I was listening to them in my car
Oh,
because they're
God.
so.
They are hilarious. All right, so missing in action, wrapping up, found in action.
Yeah, you know, one other thing I was gonna say, like going into this, I thought they were gonna be like insanely jingoistic.
Yeah.
and like they were not as much as I had thought. They were pretty bad, but they weren't.
He's defending himself because I'm making a face.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were bad, but they were not like.
Yeah, it could have been so much worse.
There was
So,
there was forensic evidence of good intention
It wasn't
somewhere
like
in there.
teamwork.
I guess it was good that there wasn't like some Vietnamese love interest in every movie that he was like,
Yeah.
objectifying.
Well, even like the I feel like every movie had at least a scene that showed that there is actual people and that I mean, especially for the time, like when it's not good, but it wasn't as
And like,
distasteful
I guess
as I
they
expected.
like kind of went into each film for like a quote unquote good reason.
I guess
This last one, I guess they were trying to bring awareness to all the Amer-Asian
the
kids.
bad guys, they made a point for every movie to make the bad guys one bad egg and not the Vietnamese people are evil.
Right.
That's true.
Which I think that in the time that it came out wasn't necessarily the most obvious choice.
Yeah.
Is it good? Fuck no. Is there issues? Absolutely.
Well, and
Um,
the third one, how many years later is it? Few, like 3 or 4 years after the other two, right?
Yeah, I think it was 88.
Yeah. So I mean, like
Last one
Chuck
was
Norris is
85.
getting more and more like Christian-y and conservative as these movies
Total
like,
Jimmy.
go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And we're to the point now that he's like full on hardcore Republican
and
everything.
Dentown, USA.
Yeah.
So that is missing in action.
We are done. That was the last one, you guys.
Yep.
Which
I won't miss it.
No, me neither.
No.
And after all this action and all these explosions and violence,
You
what
guys-
are we gonna do next?
You guys have been so good, and so you made it through missing in action with us.
Would you say they've been good boys?
You've been good boys, and good boys get good boy friends.
Good dog.
Good dog. And we are extremely excited to announce that our next series is going to be the intrepid, the indomitable, the brave, and the unstoppable
And the hunted.
Benji. Yeah.
Happy dog movie! Yay!
Cute doggies! Dog. Oh, we're so excited, you guys. You know, there's a new, brand new Netflix film coming out actually next week when we're going to drop our brand new Benji episode on the first Benji film. And we thought it would be great to, you know, focus on the series.
Yep. So
Do a Benji celebration.
let's do a breakdown here. How many Benji
There's
adventures are we gonna get through?
We're gonna do 4 Benjis, and then the Netflix one will be 5.
Yeah.
So that we've got Benji, the original classic. We have For the Love of Benji, and then Disney took over and made Benji the Hunted, and then it went back to the original Benji creator for Benji Off the Leash in like the 2000s. And there was a bunch of other Benji TV specials and short films that
Fuck that. We're not doing it.
we're skipping those for now.
Oh, we might throw you
We
a
might do
bone.
them at some point.
We might throw you a bone in this
Yeah.
episode.
Oh God, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But we might.
We might.
And then we will do the Netflix one. So it's going to be 5
Benji.
Benji-sodes.
Benji?
Benji.
I'm so excited, you guys.
I'm very excited. So
gonna
yeah,
be
so thank you for sticking through for Missing in Action. I think that it was actually I'm happy we did it. I think that we thought it was gonna be this chop sake action thing, and we ended up having an amazing guest with Thomas.
Yes,
and
thanks again.
and kind of talking about. I think we all agree our worst series.
I would say so far.
And
yeah.
but there
But
was
some good conversations.
But some good conversations about it, and it might be something that I'd recommend to people who need to go to sleep.
Especially the first one.
Having trouble sleeping, Missing in Action.
Yeah,
we have
totally.
episodes about that. But really appreciate you guys listening. Please rate and review us on iTunes. It means a lot. Even if you didn't love these episodes, 5 stars. It goes for the whole series.
Yeah.
But we really love recording these episodes. If you have what you would do for your Van Van missing Vietnamese child, please email us at sequelrights@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media at
Sequel Rights on Twitter and Instagram, same thing, facebook.com/Sequel Rights, and you can find all our past episodes and past franchise series at sequelrights.com.
Yeah, and I don't think I've actually said it for a while, but thanks for the music up top, our theme song by my brother Jordan. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week for Benji.
we'll be hunting you down.
Woof.
Wolf.
I can see the love of freedom shining in your eyes. I can see the love of freedom in your eyes. Oh, it's the love of freedom in your eyes. When I look into your eyes, what do I see? I can see the love of freedom staring back at me. And it is in that simple wisdom I know how future lies. It is the heartbeat of America, and it is why we must survive. I can see freedom taking wings. Oh yeah. See her fly. I can hear the children sing. Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. It's the love of freedom. We can't turn our heads and walk away. It is our world and it is changing, growing smaller every day. It's up to us to hear tomorrow's cry. Save the future for our children. Let them see the eagle fly. I can see freedom taking wings. Oh yeah. I can see the eagle as she flies.